Hey, welcome everybody. It's 7 o'clock Wednesday night. Time for sci-fi distilled. Welcome back, Mary Beth. How are you?
The chimes, the chimes. I hear the
Chimes,
chimes.
right?
How are
It's
you?
7 o'clock.
It's 7
I'm
o'clock.
good.
Time to.
It
It
is.
was like
That's just the
60
time.
degrees here today. It was
It was
glorious.
it was warm, but it was yuck. It's very. We're in full blown. We have 5 seasons up here because we have regular winter, spring, summer, fall, but we also have mud season.
Yeah,
So
mud
we are
season.
we
Yes.
are well into mud season right now, especially with all the
I
rain
have.
we got yesterday.
Yes.
Everything's a mess. My pumps are on in the basement. Yes, it's spring.
Oh, that bad. Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I don't even like I have it all. I'll have it all automated. I don't even have to get out of bed because it's always at 3 o'clock in the morning when the water starts to come in. Always at 3 o'clock, and sure enough, 3:45. Well, yes, alarm
You hear
goes
the
off.
pumps.
I don't even have to. I just go over to my iPad. I look and I just tell the Echo thing to turn the pumps on, and I go
Oh,
back to sleep.
nice. That's
I have it all
nice.
automated at this point. So,
Oh, that's awesome. It's not quite that bad here, but yeah, we've got that spongy ground
oh yeah,
situation.
it's muddy.
Oh,
It's a mess. So we're waiting. The
no.
cars, nothing's coming out of the garage for a while. All right. So we are doing kind of continuing what we did last week, but now this is a little different. This is these movies that are just bad, and we know we should not like them, but we watch them anyway, and for some reason. And guys, just tell us what you think you like because in the chat because I want to know what other people are watching, and there's probably going to be some groans, I think, with some of the ones that
I
we
think so
have.
too. Some of my choices might be questionable.
But anyway, you must have news. You always
I have a
have
little bit of news, just not too much. I have two public service announcements. Public service announcement number one is, we changed the clocks this weekend.
news. Why are we still
What the
doing
hell?
this? Why is
I
it
hate
still a
that.
thing?
I
don't
just despise it.
understand.
I despise this one, the spring one. I love the fall one, but I despise the
I
spring
don't.
one.
They're
So
both stupid. I mean, just
they're
pick
both-
one and stick with it.
just pick one and stick with it. All right. Public service announcement number two, Warby Parker. If you guys have heard of Warby Parker, they make glasses.
Eyeglasses.
They will give you free Eclipse glasses for April 8th. Their stores will be handing out free Eclipse glasses from the 1st right up to the 8th, 2 pairs per family. And this will be while supplies last. Their glasses are ISO certified, which is an international safety standard for solar viewing, whatever. When supplies run out, apparently they will offer you a pinhole viewer, but guys, you could just make one of those yourself. So whatever. I'm sure lots of other places will be offering free viewing glasses, so I'll add to that every week until the
My luck, it'll be overcast and raining that day.
I know, right? Like everyone's so
Every
pumped for
time
this.
there's an event like this is what happens.
It gets
Night or day.
And-
I miss
and
it.
James is having like the special moonlight tours at the set and everything, and I guarantee it's gonna be a rainy
Yeah,
day.
it's April, and it's so.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll cross
All
our.
right, moving on.
Hello, everybody.
There's my-
Bill, Sue, how are you? Jeff, I just want to say hello. Everybody saying hello.
Oh, hi guys.
Thank
All
you
right.
for joining us.
Moving on, I got a couple more tidbits here. Adam Sandler, comedian Adam Sandler, is taking a dramatic sci-fi turn in Spaceman, available on Netflix now. The movie looks at the depth of human motion and isolation. Sandler plays a Czechoslovakian astronaut on a solitary research mission who realizes his marriage is in trouble, and he's absolutely miserable. And then he finds this spider-like alien on his ship. And he isn't sure if it's real or if he's going crazy. This is not a comedy. This is one of these heavy human emotional drama movies. Although Adam's not a stranger to drama. He's done some drama before. Spaceman is available on Netflix now. It stars Adam Sandler, Carey Mulligan, Paul Dano, and Isabella Rossellini. You know what, guys? I'm going to check this out, I think, this weekend.
I just heard about this today. That's funny that you mentioned.
Because I was watching the trailer, and it looks interesting. I'll check it out. I'll watch it so you don't have to. Number two, last week we were just talking, number four, I'm on number 4 now. Last week we were just talking about how Apple TV is still crushing it on the sci-fi scene. Well, they're going to do another thing. William Gibson's Neuromancer. I'm sure you've all read it. I read it. I thought I had the book around here somewhere. I guess I
have
didn't.
not read it.
You've not read it? It's one of these classic sci-fi books. Apple TV has officially greenlit a 10-episode television adaptation of Neuromancer. This is one of the earliest and best-known cyberpunk works and the only book to win a Nebula, a Hugo, and the Philip K. Dick Award. A lot of the themes and terms featured in Neuromancer would go on to inspire countless other science fiction tales, including 2 Keanu Reeves movies. One is The Matrix and all its sequels, and the other one is Johnny Mnemonic, if you remember Johnny Mnemonic. And William Gibson is also credited with coining the word cyberspace. So given the book's influence on the world at large, it is going to be really, really interesting to see how Gibson's dystopic vision of a digital future resonates with modern audiences, because that book's like 40 years old, and I'm really down for this. Like, I really want to see it. What about you?
Well, I've never read the book, so I have no frame of reference. So
it's the first
I'm
time.
sure I'll like it. Maybe that's a good thing, because a lot of times
Yeah.
I'll enjoy it more than people that are really, because I think what happens is you get very embedded in what the book was, and then when you see the film adaptation, you're disappointed.
Yeah, that's a really great point.
Very few I can think of books that were, the movies were better than the books.
That's true. That's a really great point, and it kind of just made me realize just now, as you were saying that the first time I read that book, I had no idea what was going on. But now I should go back and read it again, because now I've seen the Matrix. I'm completely comfortable and accustomed to the concepts of cyberspace, of being jacked in, of going into the Matrix, of like, going into this alternate world where you're not really there, but you're like virtually there. And like, I would get it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, he brought all that to us, and we didn't, I guess we didn't have it before. All right. Last piece of news tonight. Who's your daddy? The Fantastic Four. Oh, I had talked about this. Yes, guys, I promised you Pedro Pascal news last week, and here it is. Who's your daddy? The Fantastic Four is set to release July 25, 2025. That's pretty bold, choosing a date, seeing as how you haven't finished casting the thing yet. MCU has confirmed the Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four cast. They have not cast the baddies yet. I will tell you who they are in a moment. The MCU is under a lot of pressure to deliver, because the Fantastic Four, they've tried it like 3 or 4 other times, and it tanked every time. Whatever.
Yeah, they had at least three main
3 that I can think of.
Yeah. The last one was the worst.
Yeah. Pascal is under pressure. A lot of people are saying he should not have been cast for this. There's been talk. They had been talk of Adam Driver. There's talk of John Krasinski. I think I would have been down for John Krasinski, but mainly the issues are resemblance. He doesn't resemble Reed Richards' age, and the fact that he's done like 5 other comic adaptations, which should give him good experience. Like, that should be a good thing.
Yeah, well, I think when you start seeing the same actor doing different characters,
they stop,
especially in a similar universe. I don't mean necessarily the Marvel universe, but I mean superheroes or something.
Yeah,
I think it muddies it. It loses something. I think if you find the right actor, it'd be. I don't know. I mean, you hear. Yeah, I just think he's done too many things now in that.
He's done a lot.
High realm.
He was so. I mean, we really like him at Mandalorian. We really like him in The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, he was great. Whereas Mandalorian, he only had, it was his voice, and
his voice. I him like once, twice. Yeah. Yeah. So here, should I say the other actors who were cast? Vanessa Kirby has been cast as Sue Storm. She played in Margaret in The Crown, and she played in Mission Impossible, one of those many, many movies. Eben Moss Backrack is playing Ben Grimm of The Thing. He was in Andor. Joseph Quinn, who we know best as Eddie in Stranger Things, he's playing Johnny Storm. And of course, Pedro Pascal, everybody's favorite Zaddy, is playing Reed Richards. And he not only was just in the last Wonder Woman movie where he played the bad guy, but do you remember, Rizzo or anybody out there, do you remember there was a pilot episode for a Wonder Woman television show starring Adrienne Palicki? And the pilot has leaked. It's out there. You can find it. You can find this pilot episode.
I don't remember.
She looked damn good as Wonder Woman. The writing was absolute crap, but she looked bomb as Wonder Woman. And he played in that too. And he's played in a bunch of other stuff too.
Interesting.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this pans out. I don't know. Fantastic Four. They were kind of on my love.
We'll see. I mean, now that Marvel's kind of got control of it again instead of Sony, we'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see.
All right. What are we drinking tonight?
I went with something, it's kind of like the comfort drink that we all, since this is kind of like the comfort movie. So
Yeah,
I
good
went
call.
to for the basic, good old fashioned, a fuzzy navel.
Fuzzy navel. Oh,
Can't
schnapps.
can't beat it. Peach drops, orange juice, boom, done.
Schnapps, you cannot
It's
do us wrong.
tasty and it's good for you because it has orange juice in it.
Did you just say orange juice had sugar in it?
It's just because it has sugar in it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad for you.
All right, as fructose. All right,
Everything
fair
in
enough.
moderation.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, how do you want to do? Because I have to confess something. I have some single movies, but then I also have some cluster groups.
Before we do that, I wanted to give a shout out to Kent, who I don't think is here, but Kent, in his benevolenciness, and knows that I love Enterprise, sent me 2 original scripts that we use on the show from Enterprise. So thank you, Kent, publicly for those. That was awesome. Totally unsolicited. I shall treasure them. So anyway,
Can you are you allowed to say which episodes they are? Or no?
yeah, they were episode is one of them is called Cold Front, and the other one is called Dear Doctor. They were both from 2001, so that was probably season 1, I believe.
1, I would think. Yeah, I'm actually just trying to think. I'm like, which episodes are those? Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway,
all right,
just wanted to mention because it was super cool.
Super cool. All right, so back to my original question. How do you want to do this? Because
we'll just kind of go back and forth. I mean, I have a kind of. We both seem to have rather long.
We both had a lot of lists,
and mine aren't necessarily specific movies; they are genre or period of movies.
Fair enough.
Sort of speak. So I mean, go ahead, ladies first. What would you? I mean, and this is in no particular order, guys. So I wouldn't say like, oh,
yeah,
this is my favorite of all time, or these are movies. Let me just qualify this. These are movies that are bad or generally are considered bad by most people. Either they're cheap, whatever, but for some reason we like them and we end up watching them for whatever reason that nostalgia, I don't know what it is, what you grew up with. But there's a soft spot even for these bad movies. So what do you got for your first film?
I'm going to lead strong with my very best example of this. A movie I hate to love, a movie I'm embarrassed to admit I like. Lost in Space, the 1998 movie. Do you guys remember that?
Sure.
It starred William Hurt and Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc, yeah.
And then Mimi Rogers played the mom.
Yeah, it had a really good cast.
Had a great cast. Heather Graham, and the best casting of all, Gary Oldman.
Oh my God.
As Dr. Smith.
Although the overall plot sucked.
The plot was horrible.
Gary Oldman as Dr. Smith was epic.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
it really was.
Yeah, he was so perfect because he was the original Dr. Smith, the evil Dr. Smith.
Yes, yes.
Not season 1 of Lost in Space, Dr.
Yes,
Smith.
yes.
So,
and the robot was bad. Like the robot started out really bad, and then
the robot was not a great robot. Well, the robot was only bad because Smith programmed him.
Yes, Smith programmed bad, and then got caught by it. Anyway, it's you guys, it's stupid, goofy, doofy, so much fun. It's very predictable. They gave Matt LeBlanc, it was like Matt LeBlanc's chance to be an action hero, and they gave him all the action hero quips, like all the little lines.
Right, well, see, here's the thing: like Matt LeBlanc actually went on to do a lot of stuff that, because this was like the first time we saw him sort of outside
friends. Yes,
he wasn't Joey.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we were kind of like. Oh my God, why did they cast him? But actually, I think he did okay.
Turbianic.
I think he did okay because I was like, and the monkey hits the button.
Yes, I was just about Rizzo. Do you know how sometimes those of you who know me, I volunteer at the Star Trek set tour, and they're like, oh, if you left, I'd be like, oh, another one replaced me. It's a simple, easy job. A trained monkey could do it.
Yeah,
that's where I got that. Like him going, and the monkey pushes the button.
Presses the button. Yeah.
It's just such a great. It's a great movie, and not all the original. A bunch of the original cast had cameos.
Right, they had cameos in it.
And
I didn't hate it. I just didn't think the script, like you said, I think it was like Doc saying it got, or towards the end of the movie, it just, it really, the whole time travel sort of thing going on there. And it's not what you wanted. It's not what you wanted to see.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I completely agree. But and people go, I just loved it. The other odd thing about that particular movie is I really like the soundtrack. It took the original theme.
It took the original, yeah. Well, you know, there was two. That was the season 2.
Yeah.
That was the season 2.
Yeah.
That was, or I should say season 2, but it was the later. Both of them were done by John Williams, I believe.
Yes. They
but
took
the
theme.
later one is much better than the original.
They hauled out the synthesizer and they gave it this rock and techno beat, and you're just.
They kind of did it. They did a little bit of that with the TV show, where you kind of got that. Just where they just brought in that little bit of that.
I was actually watching clips from the movie today, and I was thinking to myself, we should just have a Lost in Space night and talk about all three. Talk about the original series, the new series, and this movie. And kind of compare and contrast and look at all the different doctors.
I will say that it's not a movie I go back to ever, but I
see that's why it's a perfect example of tonight's topic. It's not, you're almost embarrassed to admit you like it.
Well, it gets a lot of hate. There's no question, especially in circles of Lost in Space fans.
Guys,
it gets a ton of hate, and it's some of it's deserved. But just like it's like the Star Trek, the JJ Treks, there's a lot to hate there. But I always said, like, the soundtrack was awesome and the casting
was good.
So they got like two things right. It was just the story, I think, is where they fell apart on those.
Yeah, I agree.
And their set design was just
the store.
It was bad.
One last thing about Lost in Space is this is 1999. I was in my previous iteration, my previous form before I morphed of a dance teacher. I was a dance teacher, and at that time, I had this little boys hip hop class. And all right, guys, what do you want to talk to? They're like, Lost in Space. Okay, so that song, we were hip hop, and we were doing our dance to Lost in Space.
It would make a good Beat Saber song.
It would make a great Beat Saber song. So that's it. That's what I'm leading out with, Lost in Space.
All right. No, that was a good one.
Not embarrassed to admit that I really, really love that.
That's movie. Okay. That's the whole point of this thing, is that you don't have to be ashamed, because this is the whole point. We know these movies
it sounds like our viewing audience seems to like it too.
Yeah. Dennis, Starship Troopers is bad.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
I mean, I'm gonna Dennis, you know what? I'm gonna agree with you. It's like Starship Troopers.
You flip it and you find it.
Like the book, it's nothing like the book, but I think where Starship Troopers fell apart was the acting was just horrendous. It was just, except for Doogie Howser there, and Michael Ironside and Clancy there. But
Clancy,
but the main characters were just like almost it wasn't good.
Yeah.
What's her name? Richards. What the heck's her name? Denise Richards.
Denise. I want to say Denise.
A bag she couldn't act her way out of. Just terrible. Yeah. Just awful. Just pretty face. Very, very. But
you just want to see the bug eat the cow.
It's kind of really
so many parts of that movie that you're just like, you just want to see them out there. Just
there is. I don't dislike Starship Troopers. It's just that it is hard to get through just because the acting is so cringy. So
some of it is,
yeah. So anyway,
Dennis Chevalier, great example.
Good example, though. Yeah. Good example. So one of mine is from 1996, and it is called Space Truckers. And this is a really bad science fiction movie that stars, believe it or not, it has Dennis Hopper in it, which and Debbie Mazar, who are the kind of the two known people in it. Yeah. But it is a silly movie about, and those, I don't know if anybody's actually seen it besides me. But it's basically about a space trucker, this guy, and he has to haul, this load that was basically full of top secret killer robots that eventually break out. And of course they realize that, and they shenanigans ensue. But it's kind of the effects are cheesy, the story's cheesy, and I don't know why I like it, because to me it's like almost, I think it reminds me of sci-fi shows and stuff that I used to like as a kid, because it was just, there's no deep anything in this. There's a little bit of action, very basic plot. And and I like Dennis Hopper actually in most stuff that he does. He always kind of plays the same guy.
Do you remember him in Speed? He was Speed. He was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy in Speed. He was the bomber. Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah, he was the bomber.
So, but I mean, he's been in tons of stuff. But yeah. So anyway, Space Truckers, when it's on, I will watch it for some stupid reason. It does have Norm from Cheers, I think, in it too.
Does it really?
I think he has like a cameo. He's like the boss guy. One of the funniest things is they're hauling is square pigs. Like they're just pigs that fit in little cartons because they've been genetically engineered. So they stack easier. So
I have never seen this movie, but you have spoken of it so many
it's
times.
probably worth. You should watch it.
I might need to watch it.
It's even available on Prime. It's bad. It's not a good movie.
Hey,
it's kind of fun if you just take it for what it is. So that's not my top pick. It's just that's the first one. So yeah, see the Doc's Space Trucker so bad it's good. You see that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's not like Plan 9 is so bad it's good because that's really just bad. Like the whole thing is bad. That's what makes it great.
Yeah,
The best part of watching Plan 9 is pointing out all the mistakes.
Yeah, Plan 9 is riddled.
Of course. That's just watch Ed Wood and you'll understand.
You know what? Yeah, I have to tell you, Ed Wood gave me a greater appreciation.
Absolutely.
For Plan 9. Like the two should be like hand in hand viewing.
Yeah. And I wonder if I always thought, didn't Martin Landau, did he get the Academy Award for that? I think he got Academy Award for that.
He didn't get it. He was certainly nominated. Do you want me to look it up real quick?
Yeah, I think, or whatever. I think, yeah. But I think even Depp should have probably got at least a nod for that one.
I don't remember if.
Anyway, so that was that one.
Ed Wood. Did Tim Burton? Yeah, they all got nodded for this and that. Oh, and they got some BAFTA nods too. That's good. BAFTA is British Academy Award.
Yeah, see, Christopher was saying Martin got the Oscar. That's what I thought. I thought it was his only
that's
Oscar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
for
awesome.
Playing Bela Lugosi.
These guys are listing some good movies. Bill's talking about Roddenberry's Genesis 2. And Martin Ben was mentioning Battle Beyond the Stars.
I actually have that one on my list. That one is pretty bad too. But it's another one I will. That one is like riddled with stock spaceship footage. Like they just went to the warehouse. Like we didn't actually make
Plan 9 plane to nowhere.
Yeah. So what else you got?
All right. I'm now going to switch from single movies to like a category. And this is 80s stuff that I just loved.
We have yeah, go ahead. I bet you we have some parallels.
I bet we have some of the same ones. So I'm going to mention movies like, and some of you guys may remember these and some of you may not, like Cloak and Dagger, Flight of the Navigator, maybe Dark Crystal, Indian in the Cupboard. Does anybody remember Indian in the Cupboard? And
is that old?
Oh yeah, that's that old. And of all of those, and I got a couple others I could mention, but of all of those, do you guys remember Krull? Like as a kid, because I was a kid in the 80s. As a kid, I thought that was like the greatest movie ever. The Cyclops, one Cyclops. When I go back and watch it as an adult now, I'm like, oh dear God, that's awful.
Yeah, I remember liking it. I remember liking
watch it anyway.
I remember liking it in the 80s, and then you rewatch it later, and you're like, this is horrible.
You're like, what the heck?
It's kind of this weird. It was because remember the 80s were really popular. I'm going to get to some of this. It was really popular with sword and sorcery type movies.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger was
really popular.
Yeah.
So a lot of those Dungeons and Dragons type movies, sword and sorcery type movies. Yeah. And then Krull came out, and Krull was like bridging the gap between sword and sorcery, fantasy, and sci-fi. You had this alien sort of dude that comes down. He's going to take over the planet.
Yeah,
you have people riding horses, and
this
sort
not
of
just horses. They're riding
the princess. He has very.
What are those horses with the big hooves?
The fire. They run on the they're like Clydesdale.
Whatever. Clydesdale. Yeah, they're riding Clydesdales. Yeah, it is a really great example of a movie that you're embarrassed to admit.
Liam Neeson in it.
Yeah, probably did.
I think he was the Cyclops dude.
Actually, let me pull it up super fast. Was Liam the Cyclops? No, and he had to like die. Remember?
I think it was
1983. Oh my God! Yeah, Liam Neeson. No, Liam Neeson was Keegan. Bernard Bresslaw was the Cyclops. Okay. But Robbie Coltrane, better known as Hagrid,
right? There was a lot of people that were fairly known in it, at least, known later, not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily known now.
But the thing he had that like throwing star thing that was.
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
So yeah, it was a pretty bad, but that it fit with all those again. So getting to that point, those sword and sorcery movies of the 80s are kind of one of my other ones. One of my favorites which is one of the really bad ones, was Deathstalker, which actually spawned
Yeah.
3 sequels to that movie, to the original.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. The original one had Barbie Benton in it, aka Playmate of the Month 1980 something.
Yep. I
Was married to
remember
Hugh
Barbie.
Hefner for a while. And I don't know why, again, I like this stupid movie. It's so bad. It is just really dumb. All those there was a ton of those that came out around that time.
Oh, a slew. And then stuff like Never Ending Story came out.
That was a kids movie and actually wasn't that bad, but I'm talking about like really
some
bad,
of the
bad
Dark
sword and
Crystal.
sorcery
We could
movies.
throw Legend and Labyrinth into this category.
Yeah.
There was a slew
Legend
of them.
again had much higher.
Legend was Ripley.
and Labyrinth had much higher production values.
Yeah.
Much
And
higher.
Legend was Tom Cruise and Ripley's
these other movies were just like punch them out, throw some boobs in there.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And we'll make a movie out of it. And we'll call it good.
Or like Krull, it's really a B movie. Like technically, it was a B movie.
Yeah, in fact, I was looking this up and I found out that Deathstalker actually had a Deathstalker 4 that I was unaware of. So now I got to go find that and watch it.
Now you have to go watch Deathstalker.
I got to go watch that piece of crap. So,
Sue remembers Flight of the Navigator.
I remember Flight of the Navigator. You remember around that time, it was in the 80s, there was one, it actually had Ethan Hawke, and I think it was Ethan Hawke. And it was Explorers. And it was about these kids, and they build this spaceship out of an old tilt-a-whirl carnival ride, and then the alien comes and they fly to this alien spacecraft, thinking they're going to meet the aliens, and the alien is all goofy, who's actually played by Robert Picardo, who makes and it turns out that the alien is actually just a kid himself.
Yes, I
it was a really cute movie. I actually saw it in the theater.
Yes, 1985, right? 1985, Explorers?
He sounds about right. I remember seeing it in the theater with a buddy of mine from high school. I actually liked it because when I saw Explorers for the first time,
it's Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And the first thing, and you first meet the alien, you're like, oh my God, they're going to meet the alien. And the first thing, the alien, a typical trope is that he's been watching our TV shows. So the first thing he comes out and he's like, what's up, Doc? And he does this goofy, he starts doing all these things from TV. And it was Robert Picardo that played that part.
Interestingly,
we all just busted out laughing hysterically because we're like, it was so unexpected at the time.
That is weird. I actually do not see Robert Picardo's name on the cast list.
I'm fairly certain it was Robert Picardo as the
alien. It may well have been. I see James Cromwell was in it.
Yeah.
That's just so funny. Another one, there was one called Daryl, Daryl, and there was another one called Batteries Not Included.
Batteries Not Included,
These are all great examples of these kinds of movies that were kind of second rate. You're kind of embarrassed to admit, but I loved Batteries Not Included. That one was a tearjerker.
Doc is saying Flash Gordon. I got to take issue with that, Doc. Flash Gordon has merit on many levels.
Does not fit into this category. Sorry, man.
Category because Flash Gordon is its own thing, and I love the original Flash. Or I shouldn't say
It's like I did not include the Last Starfighter in this list.
No, exactly. No, those are good movies. Flash Gordon gets a bad rap, but it was Dino De Laurentiis, and I think he did what he set out to do. I think it worked. Anyway, we had go way back in sci-fi distilled history, and we did Flash Gordon very early on,
way at the beginning. Yep.
So
I remember Lady Hawk, Matthew Broderick, and
Lady Hawk. I remember. I remember that one, Martin.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Death Race 2000. Yeah, that was 70s. That was what's his name? I can't think of the guy that did Grasshopper there.
Oh yeah, Pat Morita? No.
Oh no.
Yeah. I know who you mean. I can see his face, and I can't think of his name.
Santa Claus Conquers the Martian, Chris, is just a bad movie. Period.
Yep.
I have no desire to watch it.
I think I'm pretty sure Roy's tie-dye sci-fi coverage.
Roy's did do that. If you want to hear about that movie, Weird Science is actually a good movie.
David Carradine, thank you guys.
David Carradine, exactly. That's what I was thinking of.
No,
1984
Dune,
Bill. I actually see again. This is one of those movies. I don't think that movie was that bad. I know, like Bruce and the other hardcore Dune people don't like it. I don't think it's that bad.
I was okay with the 1984 Dune.
I was okay with the 1984 version of Dune.
But you know what? I didn't know any better. I mean,
again, I read the first book. It's just not my cup of tea. I just felt like I struggled through it, and I read it, and I didn't have a desire to read it.
Oh, Dennis Chevalier, Weird Science and Real Genius. I don't know if you guys remember
Real Genius is a comedy, and that one is a good
I
one.
loved
Val
Real
Kilmer.
Genius.
There's some great lines in there.
I will watch that thing anytime it comes on.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer and very funny quips. Very, very funny.
That was actually a pretty good movie.
That thing made me want to go to college. I wanted my college experience to be like that, but I didn't go to an engineering school or a science school.
No, I don't think anybody.
It wasn't that.
Like that.
Yeah.
So
am I the only person on planet Earth who watched The Indian in the Cupboard? I guess I am.
I am aware of it. I don't think I ever saw it.
Yeah, Short Circuit #5 is alive. Yeah, I don't watch that one with Glee. I really don't.
That was so popular at the time, and then it didn't hold to me.
It didn't
hold up.
It didn't.
No, it's not one of those ones I'll rewatch. But
it doesn't. No, I won't rewatch it. We're talking today about movies that weren't so great, but we rewatch them happily because for some reason we like them. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. So
all right, I think I just went. So I think technically it's on you.
Yeah. So the next. So the other ones are some of these old, and you can see what my screen name is, Doug McClure. Those old Doug McClure movies, like from the 70s. At the Earth's Core, The Land That Time Forgot. There was some definite animation in there, some Harryhausen stuff going on in those things, but they were. I think I always had a fondness for them because they were like the movies that were always on, like on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. And it was like, to me, they were new, even though they're old movies, because I never seen them before because I was too young when they were in the theater to watch them. So yeah, they're just those, you guys know, those campy, the movies I'm talking about, where he's always like, Simpsons used to make fun of Doug McClure all the time. His like the.
I'm Troy McClure. This was like Troy McClure.
That's exactly who they were making fun of, and I don't know what it is about those old movies. I love that stuff. So
when you say Harryhausen, are you talking like Hercules and all those
some of
animated?
That stuff, but I mean, it was just the animation. They used that same stop action kind of animation in those movies because it was like at the Earth Core, it was basically a kind of a remake of Journey to the Center of the Earth, and there's dinosaurs and things like that down there. So that's why there was that kind of stuff in there, and there was always an action sequence to it, and everything was kind of sort of almost steampunky with these movies, which is always kind of cool. I mean, I always loved me some steampunk even back then when I didn't know what steampunk was, or it wasn't even a thing.
The McClure films used bad puppets.
Yeah. So it was just one of those fun movies. And I think my fondness for them, and I hadn't seen one in years. I mean, is that again, it was something you always like rainy Sunday, Saturday afternoon couldn't play. So you sat in the basement and you found this.
Yeah.
Again, I was luckier than a lot of people because I lived in Southern Connecticut and we used to pick up New York stations. So there was like five TV stations off an arrow we used to get. We didn't get cable till I was like in high school.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, neither did I. I was like high school for cable.
Yeah, I was like junior high.
Did you get like the Creature double feature?
Yeah.
In the Saturday afternoons?
Channel 11 Channel 11 used to do Chiller Theater or something like that. And
there's always Godzilla and whatever.
Yeah. So a lot of those movies were in those. Yeah. Of course, we got to, while we're on that subject, the old Godzilla movies. Godzilla versus stick another monster name in there, Mothra, or
there was a dozen of them. I don't remember any of them.
Those are always so much fun to watch. Yeah. And they're still making Godzilla movies, for God's sakes. I mean,
yeah, right. We just were talking about that.
We're just talking about Monarch, right?
Yeah, we just talking about Monarch. We should do like this Godzilla -1. Maybe we should review Godzilla -1 because I'd really like to see it.
Yeah, we can do that. So.
Yeah, later on.
Anyway, so that was kind of a genre of films that
That is a great choice because those are beloved by a lot of people.
They're bad because they were. I think they were.
I was trying to think of a gentle way to say it. The quality wasn't.
The quality was iffy at best, and the acting was over the top, but it was still fun.
Oh, Bill, did you see Godzilla -1? I really want to see it. Don't spoil it. I'm just gonna.
I haven't seen it either, so
I'll watch it.
So what else?
Yeah, you guys, my Creature double feature was on WLVI channel 56. All right, my next category. Okay, I'm shifting gears now. Completely shifting gears. My next category is a personal idiosyncrasy. These are movies that I personally love. I love them. And given that I just confessed to something really bizarre in Phil's show the other night, I may as well confess this. I love any one of a number of UFO movies such as The Fourth Kind, Fire in the Sky, Communion, No One Will Save You, Vast of Night, The Arrival, not to be confused with Arrival. The one with Charlie Sheen, not the one with, not the new one with the round rings. Although both of them were great. Both of them were great. Most of those ones I kind of mentioned are not not the greatest quality movie. Like they're all a little, ugh. The aliens look weird. The effects are maybe not always there. They're meant to be scary horror, I guess. I don't know. There's no message to humanity, nothing like that. And the only people that really, really like get into them and see big messages in them are like the conspiracy theory people. I just have a thing for storytelling, like UFO storytelling, and I love these movies. They're like my favorite, especially around Halloween time. That's what I'm watching around Halloween time. Like that's my idea of scary.
Hey, you remember?
Yeah, it works. It works.
Movies and aliens. Remember the film
Martians?
They Live.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Was a great one. There was like you had to put the glasses on to see the aliens who'd been replaced. That was a great. That's I'm surprised they have not remade. Maybe they have.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, maybe they did, but the effects
seems like they're so ripe for that. I don't know why.
Yeah, audience interaction kind of situation.
Yeah.
Huh. Did Roy cover that one on his show? I don't think he did. What year is They Live?
Oh, it's 80 something.
Oh, you think 80s? I would have put it back in
like the 80s.
It was the 80s?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No. It was more like the 70s, wasn't it? Oh,
I don't think so. Let's go. Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
Let's go to the videotape. That's dated. Nobody remembers that.
Yeah.
1988.
So anyway, 1988. Wow, I really have a brain that's full of Swiss cheese. Okay.
Roddy Piper.
Rowdy Piper.
Yeah, Rowdy Piper.
Do you remember when he was like in the Cyndi Lauper video?
God. Like a million years ago.
The 80s. Oh my God.
Cyndi Lauper like 65 now?
Oh, probably older than that. I mean,
yeah, no, I think she's in her 60s.
He was in the Girls Just Want to Have Fun video, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Oh my God, Rowdy Piper.
Bill says the real aliens have stopped it from being made. Them, yeah, that is just funny. You bring them up, because that was going to be one of my other was the old 1950s bad sci-fi. Them being one of them. The big giant.
Them, They Live. All these just like pronouns with exclamation points.
In the 1950s, the Thing, which I saw long before I saw the John Carpenter version of The Thing.
The Thing, but see, I wouldn't lump The Thing in with those other movies that I just
mentioned.
No,
that one was a little bit better quality than some of the
ones I just mentioned are awful.
Yeah,
I mean, they have their merits, but they're not.
Well, there's a ton of if you look up like 1950 sci-fi, there's a ton of like really bad alien.
Yeah, well, yeah,
movies,
but that's why Mystery Science Theater exists. Like, that's the whole reason why we love Mystery Science Theater.
But even Mystery Science Theater would even do like This Island Earth, which wasn't that bad for its day.
They didn't do that one.
They did do that one. That's what I'm saying. So it's like they don't just pick on bad movies. They pick on all movies. If you look at This Island Earth from today's standpoint, it's not a good movie. But I think from 1950s, it really wasn't a bad movie. I think I'm pretty sure Roy's done it. I know he's done
probably
it.
Did.
Yeah, it's a staple. It's right up there with the original Thing and Forbidden Planet and
Attack of the Scrap Monsters. Oh my
that
God.
one I do not know.
I don't know that one, Chris. They didn't do it on Mystery Science Theater, did they? Anyway, for a long time, Mystery Science Theater was where I was getting all my 50s. If I was gonna have seen a 50s movie, it's probably because it was on Mystery Science Theater.
I'm reading some of these. Yeah, these are Star Crash, Those are 80s or late 70s, I think.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, I remember those movies. Not something I go back to watch, but
Bill's
when I picked up a lot of these bad sci-fi ones is when we were in the heyday of VHS rentals, and you'd go because you're looking for something to watch.
Yeah,
and you go to the sci-fi section, and they put all these bad movies on VHS. So you're like, oh, I've never seen this before, like Dark Star or something. I'm like, okay, I'll get this, and then you watch it, and you're like, okay, now I know why this didn't make do very well. It's like I mean, the first time I saw Blade Runner was on VHS because I didn't see it in the theater. was too young probably to care at that point. So, but I remember why. And the only reason I rented that was because it had Harrison Ford in it.
Oh, well, yeah. There's a couple movies I've seen only because it had a certain actor, and then I was like,
Well, because Harrison Ford, he was Indiana Jones, and he was Han Solo. Hell,
he was Han Solo, so therefore he can do no
and
wrong.
he was also in a movie, Force 10 from Navarone, which is a great World War II movie. So
The Giant
Claw, those are pretty old. Yeah,
Chris knows all the good ones.
Chris Toxic Avenger, that's 80s. Yeah,
That's 80s.
That had a bunch of sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that was me and my stupid UFO movies, which I just adore.
Well, the 50s was mine, so we're coming back to you.
Oh, all right, come back to me again. Now I just got done.
I was talking about the 50s movies, so.
Oh, okay. Spinning off of UFO movies, 2 movies that may have actually been good, or maybe they were bad. I don't know. You guys tell me. I actually love both of the X-Files movies. I do.
Was okay. I didn't see any of the. I haven't seen any subsequent.
They got slammed. Like they got absolutely trashed by the critic. People like, oh, these are horrible. And I was just so happy to see Mulder and Scully together.
Yeah, I think that's what like people just wanted to keep seeing his stuff.
I just wanted to see my little moose and squirrel together. I didn't, you know.
And then they came out with
there is a plot. There isn't a plot.
They did that 6-episode reunion season. Like
weird thing on Fox that was just a couple years back.
Yeah, it was like the 6 episodes reunion or whatever. It was 8 episodes.
I watched all that too and loved it because I was just so.
No, that was actually pretty good.
See, it was okay. I adored X-Files. I adored it.
Let me tell you the funny thing with X-Files. When it was on and first came on in the 90s, I had some friends ours, they were neighbor, and they loved it. And I watched like the first couple. I don't know what was the first season. And the acting, like, what's her name there? Scully. Her acting was terrible. Jillian was terrible.
Oh, back in the day?
Yeah. Her acting was awful.
She's come a long way.
Yeah. And we're just like, we just like, this is not good. So we couldn't get into it. So we didn't watch it. And then for whatever reason, like a year or two after, like in season 3 or 4, I don't know when the heck it was, we gave it another shot and we're like, oh, and then we got really into it.
Yeah,
like, really, really watched it. Like, we saw the value. Like, we really liked it.
Yeah.
So it was like
not
unlike. It was like, I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, they were not unlike. Do you remember when Next Gen first came out? That first season of Next Gen was rough.
Well, it was really rough.
The first season of X-Files was rough.
I was such a big Star Trek fan especially in the 80s. You're going to watch that no matter what.
Well,
I remember watching the very first episode. Counting at Farpoint, where it was in college. A whole shit ton of us were in my college dorm room at an apartment, and we were watching that first episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I
remember like it was yesterday. Yeah. I remember liking it. Yeah,
I liked it too. I liked it right off the bat. I remember the National Enquirer reporting on the new actors. And
there was a lot. I was never a fan of the D. I know that's like not like everybody hates.
I like the D
when I say that, but I'm just not a fan of the D. The fat one. I just don't think
nobody likes the fat
one. That was the card. Remember they had the little ships, the little bits of bar, they're like, nobody wants the fat ones.
Nobody wants the fat ones.
Nobody wants the fat one. So again, and I kind of agree. I just didn't ever like the lines of it. I just felt it looked like a big tubby. I've never been a fan of organic looking ships.
Oh, so you didn't like you didn't like Moya and Farscape?
No, Moya was a different animal.
Yeah, literally.
That was different because it was supposed to be that way. But like starships shouldn't have an organic look to them. They should be sleek and.
You want it to be like a battleship.
I want it to look like a spaceship that's going light speed.
Going somewhere.
Not like a tugboat.
No, I don't. To me, it didn't look like a tugboat. Bill Sota, the dynamic between Scully and Mulder was like the Doctor and his companions. Was it? I don't know, Bill.
There was way too much.
There's way more romantic.
There's way more romance,
and they did finally get together.
Himself, sort of, except for later years, much later years, because there was kind of the.
I guess all during the show, it was will they, won't they, will they, won't they. It was more like Moonlighting. Yeah. Remember that show, Moonlighting? Will they, won't they, will they, won't they?
Sybil Shepherd.
And Bruce Willis, yeah.
Bruce Willis on the map. But Never could.
Yeah, I don't know. Sue and John, they both like the X-Files movie. I'm not alone.
Hey, you know what? It's fine.
The X-Files fans
nobody's
love
telling you not to like anything.
Not tonight, anyway. Other nights, possibly, but not tonight on movies we hate to love.
So, some of my other one that again going back to the 80s, I think it was kind of my staple for was we already talked about another one was a movie called Millennium, which was that time I think I've talked about this. Was a time travel movie where they're going back in time and bringing, because the earth has been polluted and people are diseased, so the population has become sterile or they can't reproduce, so they go back in time to they know when all these planes are going to crash, so they go back in time and they basically hijack the plane before it crashes, bring it forward in time, offload all the healthy people that would have died. Anybody that might have lived, they kept on the plane. They bring the plane back in time again with dead people on board to mimic the people that were supposed to be on board the plane crash. So there's no problem with the timeline. Yeah, Cheryl Ladd, right, was in it. And it was a kind of a weird movie, but I don't know why I kind of liked it. And it
this sounds
Chris
familiar,
Christopherson
and yet I've never seen it.
It was interesting because Chris Christopherson was a aviation investigator, and he became that because he was on one of the planes that crashed, but he lived. So he had this dream of these people coming and taking the people off and they knocked him out, but he really wasn't out. And
what year was this movie?
90s, 80s, I think it was, or early 90s. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, Cheryl Ladd was in it, and like I said, Chris Christopherson, the two people I can remember that were named people. But it's an interesting movie. It wasn't bad, and it's a good time travel movie.
It sounds like a good premise.
They did kind of address paradoxes, like whenever they would fuck up, excuse my French, they would say incoming paradox, and like this like wave would go through everything, and some little thing would change, of course. But
interesting.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. You know what? Now I might need to check that out.
So like
this weekend, I'm going to watch Adam Sandler. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've always talked about doing it. I don't know if the guys would be interested. I don't know if it was worth an hour, but I liked it. It's called Millennium.
I'm going to watch Space Truckers for you.
Yeah,
because
Space Truckers.
Talking about
you got to watch Space Truckers.
Yeah, I got a lot of TV to watch.
You're going to be like, why did you make me watch that?
That's going to be our new show. Why did you make me watch that?
The other one I had. Go ahead. I was just saying.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just saying I think it's been mentioned, but the Philadelphia Experiment, which was.
Oh yeah, I love. Yes,
yeah,
I almost put that on my list.
The sequel, which we don't.
I love that movie. I love that whole lore. I love paranormal crap, and that's one of the biggest paranormal lore.
Yeah, it was basically a Navy test that went horribly wrong.
Navy test that went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
They kind of drew it. Remember that one Next Gen episode where the girl was
trying to claim that was a true story, and I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of lore. It's just lore.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to talk about sometimes there are sequels years later. That's getting to be a popular thing, more so nowadays. You guys remember in the original was Tron, and then they did the sequel, Tron Legacy. I loved both of those. I liked Tron. I liked their stupid motorcycles that it was like the movie version of Pong.
I never saw the sequel.
You didn't see it?
And I was
and there was such a big deal about the de-aging. It was like one of the first times they did de-aging.
I just wasn't a huge fan of the original. I mean, it was okay, but I just wasn't a huge fan of the original.
See, what a perfect example. Everyone else is like, and I'm like, I love this movie. And they would ride their motorcycles, and they'd have to do these incredibly sharp 90-degree turns, and how they weren't dying, I don't know. But and then they
Final Count. Yeah, we did that on this show, Sue. Final Countdown. We did that about a year ago.
We did, yeah. We just did Final Countdown.
Saturn 3, yeah. That was with Farrah Fawcett, and and Kirk Douglas. Is it Kirk Douglas was in that? I think it was Kirk Douglas. So
was it Kirk? Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw out just as a group movies like Sharknado, The Meg, Deep Blue Sea, that nature stuff.
The Meg's a good movie. I know it's silly and it's a good popcorn movie. The Meg is fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
I find that movie fun. So another one. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say this is another one that people are probably going to groan that it gets a lot of hate, and I don't understand why. because I don't think it's that bad a movie. I quote it all the time. Is Ghostbusters 2.
Yes,
I don't
that's
know
a
why
great
it
example of a
gets so
sequel.
much
Yeah,
hate. I think it's hysterical. I think it was a good sequel. I think it was funny. I think there was a lot of good quotables in there, and I still say, all you can eat rib night at this. Just
it somehow it didn't hit quite the way the first one did, I think, for a lot of people. But yes, on multiple rewatches, once you kind of get into its rhythm, it is
I
funny.
think it was
It
funny.
is just
I
as
think
funny.
it was
Yeah,
good. I don't know, why
that is
it
a
got so much
great
hate.
example. That's a great example of a sequel that
So I don't know why people hate it. The other one along the same line is Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Gets a lot of hate for some reason, and I don't understand why. It's not. I think it's because it was a bit of a departure from the first movie.
Is that the one?
I do think they got back
Kate
to where they
Capshaw?
needed to be on the third movie for sure. Certainly,
Is that the one with Short Stack,
Short
and
Round.
Kate Capshaw?
Yeah,
and she's
the
singing
Indian, the one in
Anything
India.
Goes.
Yeah,
you're right. Okay, yeah, that one does get dumped on a lot. I didn't like I did not like Kate Capshaw at all.
No, she was she was an irritating character.
I wanted Marion back.
You wanted
again.
Marion. I think that was part of it. People were like, we wanted Marion back. We wanted a strong female lead and not Kate Capshaw, who was playing this frilly,
who was damsel in distress,
broken nail kind of thing. But she was there for she was the comedy relief. You see, that was her whole thing.
That's what Short Stack's job was.
Right, but that is the movie that triggered the PG-13 rating.
Is it
because
really?
of the bugs? All crawling, all the bugs, and then eating the monkey brains and the eyeballs and all that grossy over the top stuff that they did in that film. But I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah,
the heart, the guy reaching in and grabbing the heart.
And grab it. Yeah. Martin's remembering an awful lot of screaming in the temple. Yeah, Martin, I think I remember.
I mean,
I remember they were on a raft doing some kind of.
That was they jumped out of the plane that was going to crash, and then they used the raft as kind of to slow them down, and then they hit a mountain and they slid down on the ice.
And they're sliding down.
Yeah. So I like Temple of Doom. It's not. Do I think it's better than Raiders? No. Do I think it's better than Last Crusade? No. Better than the other two sequels after that? Yes.
Yeah.
Way better than Crystal Skull and what was a Dial of Destiny. It was better than that. Although I know a lot of people give hate to Dial of Destiny. I actually liked it. So, but it is what it is.
And we're almost running out of time. So I'll wrap up with last two movies for me. And they're different kinds of movies. I'm going to throw these two movies in together, although they're nothing alike. I don't know why I'm lumping them together, but whatever. Movies like Cloud Atlas, if you guys remember that, or What Dreams May Come. That one had Robin Williams. That one was just visually like a painting. Like it was just beautiful. Cloud Atlas was just confusing because it was a lot of timeline jumping. Like it was the same people being reincarnated in all these different timelines. They're like, I don't, do they make you think? I don't know. They're thinkers, I guess, but they're visually beautiful. They're gorgeous, but they're kind of thinkers. I'll throw those out as my last two. I enjoy those if they're on. I don't flip anymore. I gotta admit, I've got cable, everything streams. But back in the day when we could flip, something like that would catch my eye, and I would stop on it and watch it and enjoy it. They're different. They weren't really highly praised at all. But I like to see these kinds of movies. Like I like to see like creativity unfolding on the screen in front of me. That's what that is. So this is kind of different from what we've been talking about tonight, but sort of the same. It's different, but the same.
Well, it's whatever you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we've talked about movies that will just come on and you watch them. And I've always said that Hunt for Red October, whatever point that movie comes on, I'll watch it till the end.
Yes.
Shawshank Redemption, whatever point that movie comes on, I'll watch it to the end. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 13, I like those two. We'll always watch it till the end. It's just whatever point you just watch it.
You just watch it.
Like that. It's like, so there's just certain movies that are going to fall into that category. That's what I'm talking
non-sci-fi,
about. These movies, I don't necessarily seek them out. They're not like comfort. Oh, I'm going to watch this because it's my favorite. Oh, I'm
but when
flipping
they're
around.
on.
Oh, look, Space Truckers is on.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it because it's
Two
so bad.
really good examples of non-sci-fi movies that exactly fit exactly what you're talking about. The Replacements, which I was just talking about for Super Bowl Sundays. Keanu Reeves. I love that movie. I quote it all the time. And you and I both, Dodgeball. Like,
Dodgeball.
or Super Troopers might be another one
Super
too.
Troopers, yeah. I mean, there's a
Dodgeball,
bunch.
Super Troopers.
There's not like a definitive number. It's just like there's a tons, but yeah,
There's tons of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so. So one of the last ones I'm going to do is one of the other ones called, remember from the 80s, early 80s, I think it was Space Raiders: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
With Molly Ringwald and Michael Ironside. And
I remember that. Yeah, Michael
really
Ironside.
kind of bad. I remember
enjoyed
when watching they were doing like a making of, and there's this scene where like these big fat creatures that are like hanging from the ceiling, and they end up attacking them. They're like trying to sleep in this old abandoned building, and they're full of these things. And the reason it was that there was a typo on the script or to the special effects team, and it's supposed to say bat people, like as in a flying, bat,
as in like
as
a vampire.
like a vampire bat kind of thing. And but it said fat people, so they made fat people alien. And then after they realized the mistake, it was too late. They're like, okay, we're going with fat people.
I must see this now. Do you think it's on YouTube? Can I find?
I think it's on, might even be on Prime. I mean, it's still fairly. Yeah, you've never seen it. You shouldn't see it. It's a staple for bad. Yeah, it's it's
Tropic Thunder. Yeah, that one's.
It's like Peter Strauss is the main character, of course. Molly Ringwald, because she was popular at the time. Ernie Hudson is in it. And Michael Ironside is probably the most well-known people.
I will try to check
that
it
are
out.
in it. It's a stupid, silly movie. It very fits the day that it was made, the era.
There's so many of them for that. Bill's saying we can watch Dodgeball. Yeah, Bill, I think we actually did Dodgeball.
We did Dodgeball.
Well, every now and again, instead of sci-fi distilled, we do comedy distilled, and
yeah, we've done Dodgeball.
It's rare. Yeah. We only do it like once every other year.
The only other one the only other movie I was going to mention was Alien Nation, which spawned a TV show, of course, with Gary Graham.
Next week when we do the same topic but television shows, Alien Nation's on my list.
TV show. Yeah, it was a good movie, and it turned into a good TV show.
Yeah,
really was. So,
absolutely.
But Tropical Thunder, yeah, you know what the best part of Tropical Thunder, Dennis, is Robert Downey Jr.'s
and basically
character doing the white Australian guy doing a black guy was hysterical, and it's so racist, but it was so funny at the same time. I mean, because it was poking fun.
Oh yeah, so, absolutely.
But other than that, I didn't really enjoy the rest of the movie. Really didn't have a lot of merit. It was like Jack Black and what's his name? Stiller there, Ben Stiller.
Yeah. Ben Stiller, Jack Black.
Yeah. But hey,
what a weird movie.
It was a weird movie.
Tom Cruise was in it. Tom Cruise was in it, but he was in prosthetic makeup, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
I think he was. I don't know.
Anyway, that kind of wraps up. There's probably a lot more, but that kind of gives you an idea of the stuff that I will stop and watch, and I think we'll know that. So next week we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do with TV shows.
TV shows, yes.
So series and stuff. So think about what you guys more of the same.
What TV show that when it's on, you find yourself, especially back in the days when we could click.
Right, when you find yourself a little easier, yeah. Now everything's.
And I know a lot of people like, well, nowadays it would be like the reality shows. No, I want to talk sci-fi.
I don't watch any reality shows. I don't. They're all crap. They're all crap. They're all fun.
All right.
Anyway,
Friday. Friday, Roy is doing Heroes of Sci-Fi Part 2. So Part 1 must have been awesome. So they're going to go for it again. And then tomorrow afternoon, Phil has a really great episode. He's going to talk to Jim McCarty of the Yardbirds. Do you guys kind of remember the Yardbirds?
Yeah.
They're a little bit before our time. It's kind of the 60s.
No, I know.
To ask him about what it was like in the early days of the 60s working with Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and all that. That's a great conversation. So
I'm a little jelly on that one.
tomorrow at 3 on WUSB Stony Brook. And Rizzo, say again what we're doing next week.
We're doing basically just what we just did, except with TV shows.
TV shows.
TV shows we hate to love.
We hate to love them. You're embarrassed to admit that you just love to watch it.
And all right. So that wraps up. It's 8:00. Look at that. On the nosy.
On the nose. Look at us.
So thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for all your great input. You guys had some good shows.
Yeah, this is some good chat time. Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. So we'll see. So we'll see you guys in next week. Live long and prosper, of course, and may the force be with you. Good night, folks.